Hey guys, Christian here. Today we got the Subaru WRX Premium 2022 edition. This is actually the 5th generation for this model. And if you're wondering what WRX stands for, it stands for World Rally Experimental. Kind of interesting, I never kind of knew that was just 3 random letters, but now you know. And right away, let's just jump into the specs. So MSRP on this is about $35,137. Engine on this is a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine, and it's also turbocharged. The transmission is a 6-speed manual on this though. You can also get this as a CVT automatic for an extra $2,000. This is an all-wheel drive model, or what Subaru calls a symmetrical all-wheel drive. I'm not exactly sure what the symmetrical means, but it's just like any all-wheel drive for any other car company. Horsepower on this is 271 horsepower, 258 torque, which is actually 3 horsepower more than the outgoing model. 0 to 60 on this is 5.6 seconds. I won't test that completely because it is manual and I'm not the best with manual, to be honest. MPG on this is 26 highway and 19 city. And if you're wondering for the weight on this, it's somewhere between like 33 and 3,500 pounds, but overall just 3,400 pounds. And it really just depends on what options you get. So moving on to the outside, we have this ignition red. It's actually really nice, like vibrant red. Not to call out other car manufacturers, but this red seems to pop a little more than what I've seen with other cars. Maybe not as much as like an exotic car like a Lambo or Ferrari, but has a nice red to it. Moving on to this though, we have the side view mirrors. They're heated, so they are to the car color, and they're not just completely black like some cars, but you can just get it wrapped if you want that as well. And then moving down here, you do have some vents, which surprisingly, they're actually real. You might see my finger actually go through there. And it's actually kind of just like reduce all the pressure that builds up in the wheel wells, and it just keeps the car lower in a sense because it gets rid of all that pressure. And then moving on to the wheels, they're also 18-inch alloy wheels. I think they fit the car really nicely. They're almost like entirely black, but they have like the tiny bit of like gray in them. And I actually like that because they're not like your typical just like black wheels that kind of everyone gets. It's like the slightest hint of gray, and it's like a blue-gray in my opinion, but nice touch to the car. Moving on to the front side, so we have this big hood here in the front, kind of like elephant in the room, but as you can see, there's about like 6 slots there. It's actually for 6 hot pockets. I'm kidding, but it's just like slots in a sense just to go into the air and just kind of cool down the engine, and as well as feed air into the engine as well when it needs it. But besides that, going down to the front, we have the Subaru badging dead center. You can also get that to light up. It's not aftermarket, just straight from Subaru in case you want that. And then all around it, you have the hexagonal shapes, which kind of just like what Subaru's kind of known for. You can also get a sportier option in case you want like even smaller hexagonals. I think that's what they're called, but just like in smaller and just a lot more of them in the front. And then here we have the LED headlights up here, which are nice in my opinion. I actually kind of like them. I know there is some subjective comments about them. People dislike them, maybe going back to the older model, but I think they just fit the car nicely. And then going all the way to the bottom, the front bumper, I would say it looks pretty good for the reason that it just fits again with the whole rally car look in my opinion. It's like that black trim all around the car. Maybe some people dislike it that it's not the body color, but it just fits it really nicely. Moving on to the backside, we have the spoiler up here. It's to the body color, so it's ignition red. I wish it was black, it's just a little more contrast against the car, but it just fits nicely. We have the taillights over here on the right. They remind me of some car. I'm not sure if you guys know which car it is. It just looks like the taillights of some other car. If you guys know, comment down below, let me know. I'm not gonna say any names now, I just want to see what you guys would guess. And then moving on to the left of that, we have the WRX logo. And then on the left side, another Subaru name. And then you have the symmetrical all-wheel drive. Again, kind of weird. I wish it was just simply just named it all-wheel drive, but it's fine. On the bottom, you have the nice diffuser. It's kind of like pretty bulgy for the reason it's just like usually more, it's like you have that more flat look, but I do get it's good for like in case of a crash or anything, and it's also good for diffusing the air as well. And then if you move a little lower, you can also see the quad tip exhaust, which is pretty nice, really sporty look on this car honestly, and I like that the exhaust are also real as well too. And then for opening the trunk, I'm gonna show off the key real quick. I actually got to grab it from the car, left it in there. Now that I got the keys from the car, I'm gonna show off the buttons real quick on it. So you do have a couple buttons on here. At the top you have the lock button, on the center you have the unlock button, which is actually the Subaru logo as well though. So I'm gonna show that off real quick when it chimes. And then you can also open the trunk from here, so you just simply just hold it for a couple seconds, opens that up, and then at the bottom you have your panic button as well too. And then going out to the trunk from here, for trunk space, we have 12.5 cubic feet of space. It's good space. I will say it's on the smaller side for even like this size of a car, but it'll probably just get your groceries done and everything will fit back here in case you need to. If you're going for a longer trip, you might not have enough space, but overall you should be fine. And then I do want to show off a little bit what you have down here. You have tools down here, but surprisingly, if you remove all this like kind of like this whole plastic thing and everything, there's enough space for a wheel, but if you have all the tools here, there is no space for a wheel. So very confusing. Not sure what happened there on Subaru's side, but I'm sure they have a reason for it. And then that kind of just gets into the trunk challenge. So now inside the trunk, I'm okay. The opening is actually small, like I mentioned. So if you do have something really big, you probably won't fit anything too big. Maybe a big TV or a big box might not fit as easily. If you have like kind of bags that can kind of like get molded around, that'd be a little more easy. I do want to show I can kind of move back a little bit back here, so the space might just be narrow, but I do fit down here for the most part. Moving on to the driver's side, so if you want to unlock the car, it actually has keyless entry, so you simply just slide your hand inside here, it unlocks it and you're good. But I do want to show off in case you want to lock it real quick. There's two little slits here. You simply just like rub your finger or anything on there and it locks it there for you too. But simply as you like locked it, you can also unlock it. Here we have all the usual window stuff on here. I'm not gonna get too much detail anymore. And then here we have the WRX logo as well on the sill side. You can also get that to light up as well in case you want to for an extra paid option. And then the seats are also manual, so they're 6-way adjustable. You might want automatic, but I guess because it's more like a rally car and also reduces cost, it's kind of cool that it's manual and you have less things that cannot possibly break on this car. But at this point, let me jump inside the car and we'll continue from there. So now once inside, we have the steering wheel dead center in front of us. We have the Subaru logo dead center, nice blue tint on it, 3-spoke steering wheel, and then at the bottom you have like this carbon fiber look, though I think it's just plastic though. And then you also have some red stitching around the leather steering wheel, nice touch to it. You have some buttons here on the left, which is more of your volume controls for your music. If you also want to talk to the Subaru Starlink, as we'll see in the future. And then on the right side, it's more of just your adjustments when you have like the cruise control. And then behind here, you have the screen, small screen on the dead center, and on the left and right side, you still have more of like an analog dash. So here in the center, we have the 11.6-inch touchscreen, nice size and everything, like just with how newer cars are, nice big touchscreen. Kind of just going for the Tesla look, though I don't think it's really copying. I think it's just a big touchscreen is kind of just the more modern approach. At the top left, you have your outside temperature, which here in sunny California, we're at a nice 94 degrees inside of a car with no AC on right now, so we're kind of dying, but we'll be fine. You have the time at the top, you have your Bluetooth audio in case you do have it connected, it shows it up here. And then you can also show some other gauges here as well. So you have your water temperature, oil temperature, average speed. And then on the right side, it looks like someone set the temperature to always show it on DC Metro. Not the local weather, but it's just something you're gonna have there in case you wanna know. And then you can also go back to your home screen. So again, your apps, you have all your AC stuff. And then this being the Premium model, it does have heated seats. Unfortunately, we probably do not want heated seats here in the cold time, but it is just kind of nice to have. So you just turn on the heater in case you want that. So moving on below the touchscreen, we have 2 USB ports, 1 aux, so you can still connect your aux. It's kind of interesting. We see the aux now and it's slowly going away. Back then it was like the CD player was going away, now it's like the aux going away, so I just feel old just saying that. But below that you also have some space, you can throw your phone there. It's not the biggest space. I wish there was wireless charging, but unfortunately not in this model there isn't. And then to the left of the aux cable, there's also a 12 volt in case you need that as well, for more charging as well too. And then right behind that, you also have your Prindle, which is surprisingly not the usual Prindle we're expecting. This is actually just a manual transmission. And then behind that, you also have your handbrake. You have a little bit of cubby space here. I guess I'm gonna say keys or just like coins. And then behind that, then you do have 2 spots for like your water bottles or just any cups you have on you. And then final thing we have is the armrest. So all the way at the back, you have like this armrest, really low. It's kind of smart. I want to say like, let's say you're like shifting and everything. So kind of just pushing the clutch real quick. And as like maybe you're shifting, you can see like my hand, I don't really have like the longest arms, but I bet with like really tall people as they're like shifting around, they would probably smack into this. So it's at a perfect height in my opinion. So good on Subaru for that, for just considering that as always. And then when you open the armrest, there's some space in there and there's a 12 volt port. That's basically it, and a little bit of storage space, but it's just good when you want to just throw some things in there when you need to. And then I do want to talk about the seats over here. I usually never mention them. They are cloth seats. They're what they call premium cloth seats, but they're really comfy. Like if I had to make a long trip in this, I'd be completely fine. So just want to mention that. And then final thing, if you go up a little bit, you actually see the moonroof as well too. So this one actually has a moonroof option. You can open this up, and then you also have just some settings in there in case you need that as well. And I want to mention, there's a spider right there.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You'll see it in the video, you'll see my eyes just like dart to and As for the back seats, I want to just jump in, show you guys how it looks like. So as soon as I step in, my headroom's all right. I'm about to touch, but again, small size car, so I fit completely fine. Knee room's good. Again, this is in my driver's side position, so knee room's quite fine as well too. Here in the center, we have 2 USB ports. They're 2.1 amps if you're wondering. And besides that, nothing else. No AC vent. I wish they would. I wonder how much more of a cost it would be for them to just implement that, but I guess for them, they just simply left it out. A couple other things I want to mention. You do have like a little pocket here in case you want to throw some documents, maybe your paperwork or just anything, maybe your kid's toys or iPad or anything you want to just quickly throw in there. You also have an armrest here, so you just pull this down, and then you have 2 cup holders here, so if your kids have any drinks, maybe they have Starbucks, or maybe they shouldn't have Starbucks, but any drinks in here, you can just throw them on here, which is quite nice when you don't have that 5th passenger here, dead center. Besides that, it's a good space. Can't complain when I'm back here. I think it'd be a little tight if you have 5 adults, but if you have 4 adults, I'd be completely comfortable. And again, these cloth seats, I know they're just simply cloth and there's some nice foams under this, but quite comfortable in here. Getting onto the driving portion of this car, I'm gonna show myself a driving manual, which I'm not the best. You'll see a little bit of clunkiness, but great car, drives really nicely. Good power, good torque, I will say. All-wheel drive, so you feel really comfortable when you're driving on the road, even if there is like some bad weather. Coming up to the stop sign here, it's comfortable. I do want to mention one feature which is kind of cool. It's like the Subaru Starlink, which is where you talk to the car. So you simply just like tell it, maybe you want like a specific temperature, you want to turn on and off features. So I'm gonna like show myself just basically like turning down the temperature.
Please say a command.
Change the temperature to 65 degrees.
Okay, setting temperature to 65 degrees Fahrenheit.
So there's basically like some voice commands you can give it, and it'll basically do it for you, so you don't have to either take your hands off the wheel or maybe like click around, and it kind of just like does a pretty nice thing. For the most part, it's picked up my voice commands pretty well. I haven't had too many issues, but again, with any voice things, it's still always like in the works, but it does a great job. Comfort in this car, it's really good. Again, the cloth seats just are really nice. It does have a sporty suspension, so you still will feel all the bumps and everything. And the maneuverability on this thing, that's actually pretty nice. But yeah, great car. I think the drive is really nice. I can't really give like the best feedback on it. Not the best at driving manual, but if you guys get an opportunity to do that, I definitely recommend it. Or just get the automatic with the CVT option, which I know the CVT is not preferred, but it'll get the job done. Alright guys, that concludes the review for the Subaru WRX 2022 edition. Again, premium model, 5th generation, and again, a nice ignition red, and also the nice black cloth seats inside, premium as they call them. But key giveaways on this car, the whole exterior on the car in my opinion, the nice scoop on the front, you do have the whole black trim everywhere, nice headlights, I know they're a little subjective, but I do like the headlight. And then the whole car just in general, it is that general, just like what it's known for all weather, snow, rain, or just even sunny weather as we have here. It just, you have the all-wheel drive, you have all the plastic panels, which sure they might be plastic, but they're interchangeable in case you get a lot of rock chips, or in case you're dealing with a lot of salt and you don't want to build up on the actual metal of the car. And yeah, again, the all-wheel drive just drives nicely too. So great car in case you like it. But besides that, again, hope you guys enjoyed the review. You might hear the siren in the background, but at this point I'm leaving already. So if you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe. And at this point, until next time. Horsepower on this is 271 horsepower, 251. How did I read that wrong? I don't know. Exactly. It says a different number and I said something completely different. So now that I got the key from the car, so I'm about to cut here because I don't want to show myself shifting.
It keeps that authenticity.